Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Ooh, that's right. When we talk about a warrior, what we're talking about is someone that is warring to fight for their legacy, to become a leader in their home, their workplace, and their community.
And you know what else they're fighting for? To become that legend. You know, we in America, in our society, and around the world, you know, there's a lot of fighting going on. But are you fighting to become that legend, that trailblazer who's going to set your family in a new course, a new victory, a whole new motto for your family?
See, we know what we're talking about. We know what it means to fight for your legacy. Ron spent 15 years in prison while the boys and I did the time on the outside, he did the time on the inside. And we had to fight hard every single day to build our family strong and healthy and to create a legacy for our family.
You know, I did 15 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit, but that didn't mean I should have been there. You know, we had to come with grips in terms of what propel somebody, put somebody in a place in life where they can't be taken at their word. And you know, when we came to grips with that, and I had to come to grips with that personally, we found out, you know what, I'm here, now what? How are we gonna become better and not bitter?
And that was a heck of a journey for us, but we learned a ton about what it takes, the type of grit and the type of determination it takes, and the principles that we needed to learn and apply to our lives so that we could overcome incarceration, we could overcome poverty and welfare and entitlement. And so today, our family is healthy and thriving. So our passion is to help you achieve your dreams.
Because if we can do it,
overcome everything in your life.
Because if we can do it, you can do it. You know, and that's the bottom line. You know what? And this is learned behavior. So we want to encourage you. We want to thank you for letting us be part of your journey. And we're about ready to get into a deep conversation about a yes and a no person in your life.
So today's topic is, do you have yes and no people in your life? And if not, why? And if you don't and you don't know how to do it, we're going to tell you how to do it. So when we come back, we're going to explain to you what we mean when we say, do you have yes and no people in your life?
So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about, do you have yes people and no people in your life?
And that probably okay, of course I have yes and no people. Everybody can say yes and everybody can say no. But what we are specifically talking about are people that are yes people, which we call cheerleaders, are people that are no people, and those are the people we call coaches.
You know, it's important to have both these type of people in your life. You know, and we're talking about what is it? What is a somebody who's celebrating you, somebody who's rooting for you, somebody who is on the sidelines and they're cheering your name on as you run this race. But you also got to have people on the other side of the line that are holding you accountable, that are coaches, that are not always going to be there, and they're not going to always say the things you want to hear. And you really got to come into a place of where you can hear that that type of criticism in your life, because sometimes, you know what, we don't want to hear no. We don't want to hear stop. We don't want to hear slow down. We want to move. We want to go. And we have our own idea, our own agenda about how to get there. But you know what? It's those coaches in our life that are going to help us get there and be healthy when we get there.
If you want to be successful and overcome every obstacle in your life, you need both cheerleaders and coaches in your life. You know, last Friday I was sitting there, it was parents' night, and we were watching a football game. And as we're watching this football game, I'm watching the cheerleaders, and it didn't matter if the boys missed the ball, it didn't matter if they fumbled, it didn't matter if they didn't make their, what's that mark when you get first down? If they didn't make their first down, the cheerleaders were still cheering them on. Come on, you can do it. Now, on the other side of the fence were the coaches. And the coaches, when they were messing up, they were telling them, that's not the play. I told you, this is how you do that. This is how you do that. You let that guy go, right? So they were giving them very specific instruction. They weren't just saying, you can do it, you can do it. They were saying, hey, this is how you need to do it. This is what you're doing wrong. If you don't have both yes and no people in your life, if you don't have both cheerleaders and coaches in your life, then you are actually hindering your ability to become successful. Because if all you ever had in your life were cheerleaders, you are going to thwart your growth.
You know, it's almost a deformity in your own evolution, in your own growth process. If you don't have a coach in your life, somebody to hold you accountable, somebody to tell you, listen, if you keep going down this path of destruction, and when our own side, we might be thinking, you know, this is the path I want to be on. This is the life for me. Mm-hmm. But if we don't have a coach in our life to tell us, listen, let me show you where you're going to look like in the next 10, 5, 15, 20 years from now, if you continue on this path, you know what? We would all be found in the penitentiary. We would all be found in divorce. We would all be found somewhere where we didn't plan on being, we didn't want to go, if we didn't have a coach in life to help us lead and guide us in a path of success.
But if all we have is someone that's constantly telling us what are we doing wrong, how we can improve, how we can get better, then that can be discouraging too, right? And so if all you have is a coach and you don't have a cheerleader, somebody rooting you on, telling you, you can do this, then it's easy to give up. It's easy to become discouraged. So finding that balance of having yes and no people, that's what we're talking about today. And today, as we go through this show and this segment, we're going to be talking more about why that's so important, and we're going to tell you how to do it, how to find those people and find that balance of having yes and no people in your life. If you want your children to be successful, then you have got to model success. In order to model success, you've got to connect yourself to both those yes people and those no people. And that is vitally important. I cannot say that enough.
You know, and when you're looking for that cheerleader in your life, you got to make sure that they are really, their intent to cheer for you is bona fide, is solidified with growth, and they're there to root you on. And the truth is, when you find those type of cheerleaders that are there to root you on, the question is, what's in it for them? They're rooting for you. They're not looking for anything in return from you. Somebody who's truly rooting for you wants everything for you, but nothing from you. These are the type of cheerleaders we're talking about, right? That are going to celebrate you at every victory, at every turn, that are going to be there. And then on the other side, as Cathy was saying, there's going to be somebody on there that's going to help navigate you when you do hit a bump in the road, to help you get back up off your feet when you fall down. And the cheerleader is going to still be there to root for you when you fall and when you get back up, and when you fall and when you get back up. That's the cheerleader we're talking about.
And it's going to take some maturity and growth on your part to really understand the difference and not expect your coach to be your cheerleader or your cheerleader to be your coach. So when we come back, we're going to share with you specifically why this is so important for you and your family legacy.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation. and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about the yes and no people in your life. In other words,
The cheerleaders and the coaches that you have got to be connected to in order to be successful and reach your dreams. I remember when Ron was in prison and I was on welfare, and I remember how horrific of an experience that was for me. And I look back and I'm so grateful that I had both cheerleaders and coaches in my life. And there were days that I literally would avoid my coach or I would avoid my cheerleader, right? Because I needed somebody to tell me what to do. I needed a coach to tell me what to do. When I first started on the journey, all I had were cheerleaders. I had people telling me, you can do this, Cathy. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Come on, Cathy. You can do this. I'm here rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. And before I knew it, pretty soon I started getting kind of discouraged because it was like, okay, they're rooting for me, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do something different. I don't know how to get where I want to go. And then I started kind of resenting them, just saying, oh, I'm rooting for you. I just was like, okay, you're rooting for me, but that's not really helping me. I still feel like I'm losing.
you know, in prison, same thing, gentlemen. You know, you look at, for guys in prison, mentors, people who have maybe done a lot more time than you, fathers who have maintained their relationship with their family and their children. You need to gravitate towards them, and you cannot. This is a pet peeve of mine, that when I meet men in prison, that when I was in prison, they would not gravitate towards somebody who's being successful because why? They're all wearing the same colors. So they told themselves, you know what? That guy can't teach me nothing. Look what he's wearing. Or they told themselves, that guy can't teach me nothing. Look how he's living. You know, he's doing things that are wrong. But you know what? You can watch people and learn, and you can gravitate toward people who are going to be a life coach to you in prison or a cheerleader in prison. Now, a lot of guys in prison join sports. You know, they'll play baseball or softball, basketball. Even back in the day when I was incarcerated, we had football, right? And so we had to have another inmate be the coach, be the leader of the team. And it was really strange how we would fall in line to that type of leadership or that type of following. We would let another inmate be the coach of the team. But when it came to anything outside that environment, it was hard for other inmates to listen to the same guy that they would let teach how to play basketball, softball and stuff. But that same guy also had the ability to teach others, you know what, let me give you some wisdom on how to be successful while you're doing time.
But then if you really want to be a successful re-entry person, right? If you want to successfully go from in prison to be home and be a dad and be a husband and be a provider and be focused on the things you need to be focused on, you've got to find a coach on the outside too. So just having a coach on the inside that helps you learn the principles of staying out of the way, staying out of trouble, not getting caught up in gambling or store man, right? You have to have somebody on the outside that's going to help you adjust to the outside, because the same rules on the inside are not the same as they are on the outside. So a coach, you know, for me, when Ron was in prison, when I connected with somebody that was just really honest with me, but in a very kind way. And I call it the 3 F's, right? Firm, friendly, but fair, right? And so the friendly was really important, because they would be firmly and they would say, Cathy, you know what? If you want something different, these are the things you've got to change in your life. You have got to start getting up early, not sleeping in, not teaching your kids to sleep in, but instead teaching them to get up early and making sure that you're reading and you're learning and you're growing and you're connecting to other communities. And it was a big deal, because at first it was like, oh, right? And then I was like, wow, so I've got my cheerleaders that I could call when I started getting discouraged. I've got my coaches that I can call when I needed direction. And sometimes my coaches would just call me because they knew I needed direction, but maybe I didn't want to hear it. And so having those people and giving them permission is so important. It's important. Why? Because we can't see all of the things in our lives that people on the outside looking in can see. So I might think I'm on the right path, but everybody around me can see, wow, you know what, Cathy better stop doing that, or she's going to end up where she doesn't want to be. If we don't have people in our life that can't tell us the truth, then we're going to continue on in that wrong path, and then we're going to get further and further off of our path. And when we allow people to speak into our lives as mentors, as coaches, it teaches our kids a humility. It teaches our kids to be teachable, and it teaches our children what it means to be accountable.
So listen, dads, what Kathy's describing is you got to be teachable. You got to be humble. You're in an environment of learning. And whether you accept this or not, part of the penitentiary experience is you're in a schoolhouse. You're in a place where you can reinvent yourself, where you can redefine what your purpose is as a father, as a son, as a husband, as an employee, as an employer, whatever it is you were doing that got you in a place of learning. This is the best place you can be, because now you get to redefine your future, and the men inside there can help you. Now you got to gravitate towards the people that are doing the right thing, because there are a lot of wrong things happening in the penitentiary. We're not denying that, but keep your eyes open, because there's some men in there who want to see others succeed before they leave that place, so they can be that man or that father, that husband that they were actually meant to be. But we have to be taught. We have to come under a schoolhouse or a school teacher to learn, and that's the coach. Because in your clique, in your group, you can cheer yourself on like you're cheering for your softball team or your favorite basketball team, right? But now you got to surround yourself with a group of people inside, and then also, as Kathy mentioned, outside. Find those cheerleaders that are rooting for you, that are encouraging you. Stay out of the hole, stay out of debt, stay out of the gambling room. Do these things, because if you practice these things, practice makes what? Permanent. Practice makes permanent in your life. And if you practice this type of behavior while you're incarcerated, you will carry that when you hit the streets.
So when we come back, we're going to tell you how to do it, how to find and connect with people that will be your cheerleaders and those that will be your coaches. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And today we're talking about the importance of having both yes and no people in your life.
And we're talking about cheerleaders and coaches. And so right now we're going to talk about how. How do you get those type of people that you need in your life? How do you do it? How do you recruit? How do you find yourself?
Activate them, right?
Yeah, that's a good way. How do you activate people in your life to help you succeed?
Now, if you're sitting there like, oh man, this is a bunch of baloney, I'm not even going to listen to this. Oh, they don't even know what they're talking about. Then guess what? This isn't for you. But if you're listening, you're leaning in, and you want something different for your life, the only way to get something different from your life is to listen to the people that have gone before you and know what they're talking about. I promise you that if you apply these principles in your life, they are going to work.
This is a battle every day, gentlemen. You as a father, you're trying to navigate not only penitentiary, but try to maintain a relationship with your wife or your significant other or the mother of your children. Because I'm telling you right now, if you have kids out there, somebody's coming to talk to you when you get home, whether it be child support, whether it be a hospital bill. Some people are going to be looking for you. So you got to be ready and prepared and championed up. Let me say that again. You got to be championed up, ready to take on on the things that are going to come at you when you hit the streets. So you have to be preparing now in the penitentiary with a cheerleader and a coach helping you navigate the things you're experiencing now, so that when you hit the streets, you're ready and you're equipped.
And you are ready to lead well, especially your family. That's what we're really focused on, because if you can lead well in your family, you can cut off those generational cycles of incarceration, and it's better for you, and it's much better for your children. So the first one we want to talk about is making sure that you remain humble. Because if we think that we already know everything, nobody can teach me, then what happens is that breeds bitterness. So when we don't get our way, when we don't become successful, we give up. We become bitter and we walk away.
So what Cathy's describing is having that chip on your shoulder, gentlemen. You know, there's some guys in there right now. You can look across, look in the day room, and you know who I'm talking about. You got that chip on your shoulder. Maybe you got 2 or 3 prison numbers, and you're still, and now you're carrying yourself in a way like you're an expert in your field. Well, you are. You're an expert in how to come back to the penitentiary. But my challenge to you, how many of you are experts in how to stay out of prison? You see, that means that when I meet a guy who knows how to stay out of prison, he's humble, he's teachable, and he's always learning. He's hungry to learn, so he doesn't make the same mistakes. How many times? Twice.
So I want to share a story.
Okay.
So I really think a great illustration of what it means to be humble and how to really know if your coach is the right person to coach you in your life. So we're going to talk about coach right now. So Bria, our daughter, when she was, a freshman year, it was her freshman year. And so she had a volleyball coach and she was working really hard. And the volleyball coach kept sitting there on the bench. And so she played a little bit, but not a lot. And so she says, Coach, what do I need to do to play? What do I need to improve on? Because I really want to play. And the coach is like, you know what? I really don't know, Bria. I can't promise you that even if you work and improve, that I'm going to put you in. And so Bria's like, well, but why? Like, what is it I need to do so I can get in the game, so I can play? And she's like, Bria, I don't know. Just keep doing what you're doing. And so Bria was very discouraged because she's like, you know what? I know what I want, but I don't know how to get there.
Now, this was a battle for us as parents,
Right.
Because we're listening to this, but we don't want to engage in this because we don't want to be those parents, right? But so we just kept encouraging our daughter, you know what? You just keep doing the best you can, right?
So then she connects with the varsity coach because she was playing JV. She connects with the varsity coach and says, Coach, I really want to play next year. I really want to play. What do I need to work on? So the varsity coach says, you know what, Bria? You got to work on being quicker with your feet. You got to work on judging the distance a little bit better. You got to learn on being able to get down and pop back up really quick. And so Bria says, okay, do you have any drills I can do? So coach says, you know what? I do these specialty clinics. Sign up, come to those clinics, and I'll work with you. And so that was the type of coach you're looking for. And this is so important because now my daughter starts. So now Bria is on varsity and she starts every single game and she's one of the best players there because she had a coach that told her what she had to do different.
And because she was humble enough to listen and apply that, everything that coach was telling her. She didn't just let it go in one and not the other. She applied what the coach was telling her. She took it to heart and she began practicing what the coach was saying.
So sometimes it's really hard to hear when somebody says what you're doing, even though, because Bria was putting forth a ton of effort, but it was in the wrong way. It was the wrong direction. She didn't know what the right thing was. So she's exhausted by putting forth all this work that wasn't getting her what she wanted. And so let me ask you this question. Are you putting in a ton of work and effort and you find yourself keep going around the same circle, getting the same results? That's because you don't have a coach that's telling you what you're doing wrong. You don't have a coach that's telling you the things that you need to do right. And when you connect with that person and that person cares enough to say, let me share my wisdom, my knowledge with you so that you can be as successful as possible, then not only do you grow, but you also then can help people coming behind you grow, especially your children.
Now, let me give you the definition of a true coach, because a true coach is not looking for accolades. That coach isn't looking for trophies for themselves. That coach isn't looking for somebody to pat them on the back. That coach is not looking for that big light and their name in the spotlights. That coach, that's not the real coach. A real coach is somebody who's looking to make you successful. A real coach is looking for you to get the spotlight. A real coach is looking for you to get that name in the sky. That's the coach you want in your corner. But if you have a coach that's trying to get all the bling bling because of your effort, that's not your coach. That's not who you want in your corner. You want somebody who's trying to exalt you and be real with you and tell you the truth. And that coach knows it's not about me. It's about your success. It's about you being able to manage through life, because the principles that coach is going to help you understand, dads, listen, while you're in the penitentiary, help you get home so you can empower your family, so then you can stay home and not come back to prison.
So when we think about the things that you need to do and how to do it, is one, remain humble. That way you can receive what someone says, apply it, and get better. The second one is to be honest. And this is really important when you're choosing a cheerleader, because when you're honest about your mistakes, you're honest about your struggles, that cheerleader is going to lean in even more and say, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But when you hide things or you're dishonest about things, then your cheerleader is going to give up and say, you know what? This person thinks they're already all that. They don't need me in their life. So we want to leave you with those 2 key points before we take a break. And when we come back, we're going to tie it all up together and we're going to close and give you a few more final pointers.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about the coaches you have in your life and also the cheerleaders that you have in your life.
And making sure that you have both of those in your life in order to be successful. So we talked about the how, and we really want to go through that again. Be humble and teachable. And that's how you attract the right coach. Because when you're humble and you're teachable and somebody is telling you what to do and you're applying it, that's the right coach.
You know, and the second one was honest. You got to be honest about where you're weak at, where you're strong at, because when you got people in your life, they really want to help you. But if you're trying to still circumvent the process or trying to sugarcoat things, the things that you're battling with, it's hard for somebody to come and help you when you're not being honest.
And in order to make all of that work, you've got to be regular, right? You've got to have regular communication. When I say be regular, the first thing my mind goes to is bowel movement.
That's right? What I thought too. Be regular.
Right. But I mean, think about that, because if you don't have a regular bowel movement,
then you're messed up. You're going to mess up your stomach, your whole body, you know that.
And you can't function. The same thing. You got to have regular communication with both your coach and your cheerleader so that you can be successful, so that you've got the right tools, you've got the right attitude, you've got the right support that you need. So if you're looking for a place that you can find additional coaching and you haven't found a coach, we want to encourage you to check out TYRO 365. Kite, find out how to get connected to the TYRO program. Find out how you can actually connect to somebody that's going to help you be the best dad you can be, the best citizen, the best employee you can be. And we can help you.
Which is really exciting. We have a lot of success stories who are men just like you in a place just like you're at right now, all across the United States. They have great testimonies. Why? Because they listened to the coach. Why? Because they found the right cheerleader. Why? Because they became humble and they listened and they learned, because they realized practice makes permanent.
That is so true. So we want to take a moment and just thank you for joining us today. Thanks for letting us be part of your journey.
Until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.